Anime Death Spiral, the only anime podcast that has all 6 fingers and toes. No Thresher accidents here. We're back. We finished all the premieres.
We did it. You know, it was a long, arduous journey, but like years past, we keep on trucking through every season. We make it through so that you don't have to.
Yeah, and now I've got the old anime drill to the back of my head, commencing anime trepanning.
Yep.
Can't wait for next season.
Just like that scene in Fooly Cooly.
Yeah, when I might finally come back and watch some of these shows again. I did watch the first 10 episodes of Frieren, this season of Frieren. I don't know what the hell's going on with the release schedule, but for season 1 of Frieren was 28 episodes, and season 2 so far is 10. So I'm not really sure what's going on here.
10 that they've released so far, or there's only going to be 10 in the season?
I haven't looked into it. I don't really care that much. I like Frieren a lot, but
we're anti-elf on this podcast. I do not feel I don't feel any kind of kinship towards those pointy ears. I have no reason to promote their anime.
I like elves. I'm not sure I like elf as a canonical elf as a concept. It strays a little too much into the blonde hair, blue-eyed Superman.
Yeah.
Over race that it makes me a little uncomfortable, I have to say. Maybe I'm a little touchy about this, but it does feel sometimes that we've strayed from a quirky fantasy concept into something maybe a little darker.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, I like that Frieren leans into the elves being just exactly those kind of assholes, though. I think that's funny.
Frieren, I like the Frieren elf because in a lot of ways they are more true to the Tolkien elf in that their race is essentially like dying out and they're not really doing anything about it.
Oh, they don't give a shit.
Yeah, they've lived so long that they're kind of like, they decide essentially what they should do is just kick it.
Yeah.
They're just going to kick it, and then there's going to be none left. That's the Frieren elf, and I appreciate that.
No, I'm 100% on board with that game plan. I mean, isn't that the end goal of being like an ageless immortal? Is like, you just get to kick it, right? Like
you just kick it.
You just kick it. There's nothing left. There's no struggle left, which is a good thing, by the way. I want to be clear about that. I would love to just kick it for eternity. That sounds awesome.
Yeah. There's an episode in this 10 episode stretch that includes a part that I really like where Frieren meets up with this dwarf. She tends to meet up with dwarf friends because they are also a long-lived race in Frieren. So she runs into this like dwarf 80 years after kicking it with him. And he spent the last 200 years of his life trying to find this one vintage of beer. He's convinced that it is like the god beer. And then, which is very common for Frieren, we cut back to a very, very long time ago when Frieren is talking to another elf who's kicking it. And the elf's like, hey, what would you do if you spent like 1,000 years dedicating your life to one thing and it turned out like bad? And Frieren's like, I don't know. And she's like, here, try this beer I made. It fucking sucks. And it is revealed at the end of the episode, this is the beer that the dwarf is looking for.
Oh, what
Frieren
an
does not
ironic
mention this.
Shyamalanian twist.
And in Frieren's style, because she's never particularly interested in revealing anything to anyone at any time.
Well, isn't that the whole bit of her character is that she is comically detached from all of these goings-ons for the most part because she's so long-lived? She
is on a journey of world discovery, of reopening her eyes. That's kind of the hook, right? Mm-hmm. When traveling with the hero party and Himmel the hero, the idea was like, oh shit, you can live thousands of years, but like the 4 or 5 year stretch she spent with the heroes party is like the single most important thing that had ever happened to her, and she didn't realize it until Himmel dies in the first episode, which is why Frieren is popular, because that fucking rocks. It's like a great It's a great hook.
No, it's a great setup. Really good hook.
I do get a little angry because this is straight up ripping off Deedlit's character arc from Record of Lotus War. Like, this is what happens to Deedlit, right?
Well, we can't get too hung up on that because, like, all fantasy anime within a certain sphere are downstream from Record of Lotus War. That's kind of like the template.
I'm not legitimately mad, but I do think, hey, maybe throw some of that shit towards Lotus War, because you are doing Deedlit.
Yeah.
Deedlit was a little more impassioned. She seemed to care more about things than Frieren.
I really like what Dungeon Meshi decided to do with that whole concept of, the long-lived elf by having Marcille's character be a half-elf. So in that sense, she's going to outlive, like, basically 90% of the people that she comes in contact with, but at the same time, like, pure-blooded elves. I don't like saying it that way. That makes it sound weird.
Yeah, this is a problem with elves.
Yes. They also, look down on her because they're a bunch of stuck-up racists, basically.
Yeah. Well, this is, again, a thing that, unfortunately, springs fully formed from Tolkien's pages, is the whole, misogynist, anti-misogynist aspect of it. As people have pointed out before, like in Lord of the Rings, like, if you have one drop of human blood, you are mixed race no matter what, essentially.
Well, Elrond was a half-elf. He was like the most famous one.
But if you are a human with a single drop of elf blood, you are a superhuman.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
Kind of fucked up when you think about it that way.
Yeah. It's not great, right?
Yeah.
It's not good. Those fucking Numenorians, man, right? It's pretty cool that these humans are desperate for a Numenorian king, even though none of them are the superior humans, right? Kind of weird how that worked out.
A little bit weird.
Weird.
But that's neither here nor there. There's been a couple big wars between now and then. Surely public sentiment has changed on those kind of things.
It reminds me of in The Hobbit. I've been listening to a podcast about Lord of the Rings and
oh god,
all this stuff, and it did remind me the very funny part in The Hobbit, where Bard in Old Town, right after they defeat Smaug, all the people are like, "Fuck democracy! We want that guy to be king again." And Bard's like, "Yeah, I guess I could be king.
Get him over here.
My great grandfather was a king. I might as well be king."
Sure, why
and
not?
Then the elected mayor is like, wait, hold on, guys. We're gonna just abandon our entire, like, multi-decade democracy project because this guy shot a dragon?
And they go, yeah!
And they're like, hell yeah, we fucking love kings. Fuck this shit. He killed a dragon. He could probably do a lot of politics. And they just go with it.
For the record, I don't have a strong argument against that reasoning, though.
Hey, killing a dragon is just as legitimate as any other form of political governance. I don't know.
You know what? It's 2026. I have no barometer for what makes sense anymore. So I'm going to say, yeah, sure. Why not?
Yeah, fuck it.
Yeah,
Who gives a shit? I also watched a few episodes of Gnosia, which I finally got back around to. That was the other one I got back around to.
Yes, Gnosia is the visual novel game that you were playing a while ago, right?
Yeah. It's a really weird one because Gnosia, the game, is a visual novel, but it's also just an endless series of playing Wolf game against an NPC.
Yeah.
Really odd, but I like it. It's fun. I like Wolf game. I've read a lot of Wolf game manga. There's one called Jinro game.
It's a bit on the nose, but okay.
Yeah, unfortunately, if you Google that, it does translate to Wolf game, so good luck finding it. But it's really good. It's one of the better death game manga. And a lot of death game boils down to Wolf game, pretty common template.
Yeah. I remember seeing the posters for the Gnosia anime all over the subway system when I was in Tokyo earlier this year.
Yeah, that's crazy to me. That is bizarre.
You know what? The one thing, I've been to Japan twice now, and the one impression that I've taken away.
All right.
Not to brag, not to
all right, buddy. Okay.
not to air my bona fides out here or anything.
Jesus Christ.
But the one impression that I did take away both times is the sphere of stuff that is popular over there, and like the titles that become like hits in the rest of the world outside of like the really big like popular Shonen Jump stuff may as well be two separate circles. There is so little overlap. And so whenever you are surprised by how like popular something is and how much advertising it gets, it's probably because it's way more popular over there than here.
I believe it, but then again, I'm also baffled by a lot of stuff that becomes popular here.
Well, yeah. No accounting for taste.
Yeah, there really is no accounting for taste. Things that I think are mediocre to okay become like the biggest anime in the entire fucking world over here. Don't get it.
Not to name any names or anything.
Coincidentally, there was a big Soul Eater anniversary recently.
Okay, Soul Eater was not as popular as you were making it out to be. It was mildly successful.
It was pretty popular. Man.
I like Soul Eater. I couldn't get into Fire Force as much.
Soul Eater is fine. Fire Force is not okay. I don't like Fire Force. Blue Exorcist kind of falls in the same category for me.
Is that from the same author?
No, it's just one of those ones that got popular for some reason, and I got around to it, and I was like, why the fuck?
Sure.
Just generic.
Same,
generic
Black Butler was another one that I never got, you know?
There's some problems with Black Butler, man. I can't get into it, but Gnosia is a really weird one because it, like I said, the game is just playing round after round after round of Wolf game, just in various configurations. You're stuck on a spaceship with a wolf, a space wolf, and a bunch of random people, and you just play it over and over and over again. And there are every once in a while, way less than you'd think, considering, it's like a narrative game. You unlock a little tiny piece.
For anybody who doesn't know what a wolf game is, it's Among Us. It's just Among Us. That's it.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
You think people don't know wolf game, werewolf game, werewolf?
No. I think that there is an age cutoff where certain people call it Mafia, certain people call it Wolfgang, and then anybody younger than that calls it Among Us.
Yes, I have heard Mafia before. I'm a wolf game guy.
I've mostly heard called Werewolf.
Mafia sucks.
You're the only person I've ever heard call it Wolfgang. Wolf game, by the way. It's called Werewolf.
Game.
It's called Werewolf.
It's wolf game.
No, that's beside the point.
Ukami. Yes, it's beside the point. The point is that it's like a very strange thing that somebody thought would make a good anime. But I threw it on, and not only do I think it's a very compelling version of a visual novel translation, which I have watched quite a few at this point, but it has the weirdest high budget production. I mean, it really must be what you're saying, that like it's wildly popular somewhere else, because I know like the game is doing okay over here, but this thing has like a better budget than like most.
No,
like
when I say that
shows.
I saw posters for it, I'm not talking about like one frame poster. I'm talking about an entire section of subway tunnel, like an entire like 30-foot long section, all taken up by one scrolling poster for the Gnosia anime.
Wild.
Like, wild stuff. It was everywhere.
Absolutely wild. That's just crazy to me. It's crazy.
Crazy.
It's also crazy how insanely faithful and accurate the show is. I really thought that they would maybe try to imbue it with something,
Do they do?
But they decided.
Do they animate where you save scum and reload stuff to view the different dialogue options, so you know all the choices that you're making in advance?
Well, yes, they do.
Oh wait, really?
Yeah, they do that. They fucking do it all. I mean, they are using strings of lines of dialogue directly from the game. It's
was the
crazy.
game Does the game have voice recordings? Are they literally just reusing assets from the game?
No, they've fully voiced everything, and the animation, there's basically no animation in the game. Everything is custom animated now.
Okay.
And there is a lot of animation. They did not change basically anything else. The environments themselves are like 1-to-1. The character designs are 1-to-1, except for the protagonist, obviously, which I think maybe we could have had some wiggle room there. Some of these designs could have been left in the realm of the visual novel. I gotta be honest.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, not all bangers in the costume department of Gnosia. I don't know. I like the game, whatever. But man, they went fucking hard for some reason.
I keep telling you, the animation allocation budget allocation for this stuff is the fucking Wild West. I cannot make any sense of it because, something like I made friends with the second prettiest girl in my class will just have absolutely stunning sequences of the characters walking down school hallways. And then, I hate to keep beating a dead horse, but One Punch Man Season 3 is still in the room with us.
Yeah.
I don't get it. I don't know what they're doing over there.
It's just that concept is so relatable. We've all in our lives at some point been friends with the second prettiest girl.
It's true. Some of us have even been the second prettiest girl.
Yeah, if you look around and you don't see a second prettiest girl in your group, I have some bad news. I'm sorry to break it to you. Yeah, I think this is really weird, and like I have to say, it's this is a 21 episode and done. 21 and done.
Oh wow, okay, that's like the anime equivalent of a tight 90.
Yeah, and it's like really compelling. I think like if you don't want to play 400 hours of a weird visual novel where you're mostly doing the same thing over and over and over again, which I guess I don't blame you. I guess this is like really good and compelling, and they put a shit ton of animation into it, and it's a really surprised me.
Okay,
Caught me off guard. Gnosia anime. You came correct. I cannot believe it. I counted you out. I gotta be honest.
It's always so pleasant when we're taken off guard by something like that. It's easy to become cynical in this line of work.
Yeah, it really is. So much stuff sucks shit.
Oh, and I am looking at some of these character designs, though. What is going on here?
Yeah, man, there's some wild shit. I can't really explain the choices that were made.
Oh yeah, no, I can tell why you like this one, Remy.
You're talking about the guy who has a mechanical cat attached to his neck?
That is pretty cool.
You like that?
No, I'm talking about the girl whose costume is like a go-go dancer, but just like with reverse chaps on, like the inside of the thigh.
Yeah. Isn't that really funny that she has
removed.
cutouts on the inside?
Yeah.
I think it's really funny. There's some really funny choices made. I don't really necessarily agree with everything. I like the protagonist design, which is the biggest surprise considering everything else is in the game. He's got a dope-ass coat. Like, I saw that coat, and I was like, I want that shit. Fuck, I want that. That's cool as hell.
Is that the guy with the high collar coat and kind of like a green floral pattern thing going on?
He is the only one that doesn't look like a visual novel character. He wears a white to gray gradient shirt and like a really, really huge silhouette. He's like a willowy little dude, but with a huge silhouetted coat.
Hold up. Why did you not lead that there is a Johnny Mnemonic style space dolphin in this?
Oh, did I not mention that? Yeah,
No.
there's a space dolphin.
Okay.
Sorry, I should have mentioned.
Well, that's all you had to say. Of course I'm going to watch this now.
And she's your best friend. She's your best friend.
It's got a Professor X psychic space dolphin that wears a little water helmet. That's awesome.
Yes, she's very cute. She rules. It's true. she rocks pretty good. Yeah. I want more of her and less of the guy who's literally a gray.
Oh yeah, I see this guy as well.
Very odd.
Less impressed.
Very odd. I don't know. It's dope though. You know, I'm already on board with a death restart that's not an isekai. That's like become a pretty rare.
Mm-hmm.
I'll take it where I can find it.
All right.
That's kind of my catch up. I haven't watched any more premieres. You know, I've watched a little bit more of the stuff that's come out, but you know, that's par for the course.
You know, I did watch one other premiere, but I don't want to spend.
Oh shit!
I know. I was reluctant to even bring this one up. I did watch the first episode of the Klutzy class monitor and the girl with the short skirt.
Man, that's not a great setup for me.
No, it's a horrible title. I don't have much to say about it. I was not super impressed. It is kind of going for like a zany kind of comedy thing. You know, the joke is that the class monitor dude, which sucks. I hate that class monitor is like a thing. You know, he's part of the moral committee or whatever.
Why do Japanese high schools have Stasi agents?
I don't know.
Why is that a thing?
It's very weird that they have like a disciplinary and morals committee and all of these things.
At least in British boarding school, the prefects are supposed to be like your dorm leader, right?
Well, they're your dorm head, but also they also are a monitor role, right? You know,
but it is framed differently.
It is framed differently. They're more framed like almost like babysitters, right?
Yeah, yes, exactly. For your dumb ass.
No, this guy is a cop. He will drag your ass in for the mildest of violations.
He's a fucking cop.
He's a fucking cop.
He's a fucking cop.
Which sucks. But the joke is that he is the head of the morals committee, but also he's like really dumb. Like really dumb. Like he has the worst grades in the class.
He's a cop.
Yes, I know. I'm saying that the show is presenting this as like a weird, like kooky thing. You know, it's a quirk of his character. Like, hey, isn't it weird that they let the class monitor a guy with bad grades be in charge of the disciplinary committee? Isn't that like weird? Like, no, that's just a cop. That's just how cops work. You know?
Yeah, usually it's the class pervert.
Yeah, exactly. He's definitely not that.
He's not the one in all the other shows where it's like the kind of the weird S&M vibe. They're like into discipline.
No, he falls very clearly in the square of being into women is gay.
Oh, the being into chicks is gay guy.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Another time-honored tradition.
So, you know, it's the trying to do a twist on the classic Gyaru dork setup, except in this case the dork is a shitty ass cop. You know, and he kind of does some slapstick stuff because he's clumsy and he goes over the top, you know, that kind of thing.
Sure.
And they set up kind of like a love triangle thing going on where first of all, they're making a lot of allowances here to accommodate some of these joke premises because his rival is like a Bosuzoku motorcycle gang guy, but he's also like the school nurse assistant. So he's like head of the medical committee. So it's like supposed to be
what
doing
they call gap moe?
Yeah. Well, he's still a student. They make that clear.
Okay.
He is not the school doctor. He is a student.
All right.
Yeah. But it's trying to do like a doctor versus cop thing. But the doctor is a
bitter
delinquent
rivals,
guy,
as we all know.
Yeah. In the grand hierarchy of nature, you know, they are competing predators.
On the spectrum of doctor to cop, we have firemen sitting right in the middle.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. Yes.
I watched the first episode of this, and it basically just sets up all of these, you know, gags. I was not very taken with it. Obviously, I was reluctant to even bring it up in the context of this show, where we only talk about quality shows.
We try to talk about good stuff.
Yeah, we try and talk about good stuff only.
Yeah.
I feel like we've had a pretty good track record with that so far.
Yeah. Sometimes I have to say a lot of these ones that you're describing to me recently really have me pining for the days of like Shikimori is not just a cutie, where the premise is my girlfriend is so cool.
Yeah.
That's just it. That's the whole premise of Shikimori is my girlfriend is fucking cool as hell. This chick I'm dating, she fucking rocks, dude. Like,
I mean,
That's it.
that's kind of the premise that we've been easing into with second prettiest girl in my class, except that she's not his girlfriend because the premise is, wow, this chick is so cool and I suck, so I can never ask her out, even though she is explicitly telling me to ask her out.
yeah, I think that's why Shikimori kind of is better in
Yeah.
every way because
well,
of that gap.
You know, I agree. I do like it when the characters are like charismatic and fun to watch, and aren't like charisma drains in every sense. You know,
Yeah.
that's always a bonus.
Yeah, me too.
I like it when that happens.
Can I say about the cop thing? Because I have brought this up recently, off pod, on pod and off pod. But
Oh
you
shit!
know,
He's going off pod.
I was despairing yet again recently about the huge uptick of all anime characters being cops. Mm-hmm. I've just been thinking about it a lot because and I caught up on a bunch of my manga, right? And all these characters are fucking cops too. And as a lot of arcs resolve recently, also the cops are becoming fucking soldiers too. They're turning from cop to soldier.
Yeah, that's concerning, a little bit worrying.
Yeah.
Especially with all of the talk in Parliament, in the Japanese Parliament, of trying to reestablish an imperial military.
Yeah. Weird.
Kind of a weird thing. Kind of a weird thing going on.
I was I was catching up on Chojin X, which is great. Sui Ishida is just absolute peak, like in every way.
Hell yeah.
I think they're great. Chojin is like really good. We wrapped up the fucking weirdest arc that they've ever done, and they rolled straight into like a World War III thing, which is pretty wild. But like our characters went from junior cops to like military within like 5 pages, and I was like, man,
That sucks.
this is wild. And and then just thinking about all the other stuff I read where the characters become cops. And then I saw a trailer. This person I follow who's like a graphic designer posts lots of very cool shit, like very much my shit. And they were posting recently a lot of marathon art and Ghost in the Shell art. And from the new anime.
Oh man, I'm so excited for that new Ghost in the Shell.
And the manga. And
Yeah.
it had me thinking a lot about both of those things. I like both of those things quite a lot. I went back and I watched from the Ghost in the Shell PS1 game that have those like crazy manga accurate animations.
I love those. Those are the tightest. Those are so cool.
They're fucking cool for a game that is not very good, by the way.
Yeah.
That game is not good. But the animations go hard. And I saw, he posted again the newest Ghost in the Shell Science Saru trailer. And the log line they're going with is the return of the cyberpunk masterpiece. And thinking about those things and thinking about aesthetics and all this stuff, because watching somebody like compare Marathon directly to Ghost in the Shell is interesting. It got me thinking about cops and cyberpunk and Ghost in the Shell and Marathon and all this stuff. And I think I've come to the conclusion that Ghost in the Shell is not cyberpunk.
Oh, okay.
I don't think Ghost in the Shell is cyberpunk. I don't think it is the cyberpunk masterpiece. Akira, that's the cyberpunk masterpiece. Ghost in the Shell, not a cyberpunk masterpiece.
All right, hold on. You're coming at me with a hot take. You're coming at me with a real hot take right now. I need to process this a little bit.
This is my hot take. This is my hottest take.
He warned me. He warned me before we started recording that he was going to drop a nuclear hot take on me. I was not prepared.
My searing takes.
Yeah. Okay. So your reasoning is that Ghost in the Shell is not true cyberpunk because the characters that we're focusing on are cops and therefore are essentially upholding the society framework, which is
Well,
counter.
I haven't laid down my full reasoning, but that was my entry point. Thinking a lot about.
I
how
assume that's where you were gonna start off with it.
it is a big part of it, because Motoko is unfortunately a fucking cop. She's a Fed.
This is true.
Bato is a Fed.
I mean, well, yeah, they're all like super secret CIA, mega FBI spies. Like that's their job.
Yeah, it's
Like they're literally their job is to go kill other people from other government sectors. They kind of gloss over in the movie that the Sector 6, Sector 7, all these things, like there's like one world government technically, but it has all of these weird geopolitical factions that are fighting with each other. That's the world of Ghost in the Shell.
yes.
It's like, yes, she's a Fed. That's true. But what does that even mean in that world? She's a cop for sure.
I think what it means is, and again, this is all kind of nebulous because, as we've said a bunch of times about genre, is like it's not, it's not particularly useful to like hard code anything into a genre. And genre itself is like, it's a tool used to create marketing opportunities. But I think just thinking about cyberpunk, it just really threw me for a loop because I was thinking about it a lot and thinking about Marathon being an incredibly fresh take on cyberpunk aesthetically and artistically. And comparing those things got me thinking about how cyberpunk in most traditional ways, and if we do go back and consider the Bibles of cyberpunk being like Gibson's Sprawl trilogy, right? Neuromancer and then like
Snow Crash.
Right, Neil Stephenson's Snow Crash.
Mm-hmm.
The things that define these works are essentially that governments are fallen. They were flawed and attempted and failed. And they've been replaced by not just replaced, but facilitated the replacement by something even worse because they refused to give to something better. That's one of the biggest common themes. This is one of the themes that I think make Akira such an extraordinary cyberpunk example, right? Is because the old world dies and the new world is struggling to be born, and there lies monsters, right?
Yep.
As literally as possible in Akira, and our heroes are people who are caught on the ground level, and are people who are trying to survive in a world that incentivizes them essentially to be criminals, because that's what is offered them. When we look at why Cyberpunk 2077, the trigger animation is incredible and is cyberpunk as hell, is because it also follows a character who is forced to live a particular life because the world around them, it is facilitating and driving him towards that.
Yeah.
Right? It's like essentially a tragedy. And in those Bibles, we also see these as central tenets. People have said a lot about how Neuromancer is essentially like neo-noir, and it is. A lot of those Sprawl books are neo-noir in a way. But
I think that noir and neo-noir itself are baked into the aesthetics of cyberpunk. I don't think that is coincidental. I don't know if Gibson's ever talked about it, if he's ever talked about.
Oh, I'm sure he has.
His influence of reading,
has.
But all of that, like I'm blanking on the name, but the Maltese Falcon, stuff like that.
The Bogart noirs.
Yeah. Yes, the Bogart noirs.
The Golden Age.
I was trying to think of
the
the author's name from the book.
Dashiell Hammett.
Dashiell Hammett, thank you. Yes, all that stuff. It's baked into what is cyberpunk. And people, I think that part of the biggest disconnect here is that we say cyberpunk and we go to stuff like, Neuromancer, Snow Crash, which is true, but visually, aesthetically, so much of cyberpunk is Like, that's from Papa Ridley. That's Blade Runner. Like, that's all just from Blade Runner. And, you know, it's, you don't think about it, but Blade Runner kind of pioneered that gritty, like, smog-crusted LA noir look.
There is, and of course, you know, that stuff, that production design is literally pulling from the actual noir movies back then.
Yeah.
And applying just hot wiring, like gluing on like cables and things to like regular shit.
And I would say Blade Runner is also not a cyberpunk story. It has elements.
I would say it's closer.
It's closer
but he
to.
is
It has
still a
elements
cop.
of that have carried out throughout the entire genre. But he is a cop. Like he's a cop. Also, there's very little cyber. It's a gene punk. Like that's the whole thing. You know, they're not robots. The replicants aren't androids. They're genetically modified, vat-grown humans. You know,
They're meat.
they're meat. They're kind of like a meat robot.
Yeah. And I think what makes Ghost in the Shell like science fiction more than cyberpunk is especially because how high tech everything is, especially, you know, Motoko's body itself, which is the central fetish object of Ghost in the Shell, a complete overhaul of the human body.
I know that, I'm sorry to interrupt. I know that that's not what you mean by fetish, but it did just remind me of something funny that I thought of in, like, I've been, you know, reading a lot of threads about the upcoming, you know, reaction threads to the trailers for Ghost in the Shell.
Oh, are you thinking about how weird sex is in the Ghost in the Shell universe?
Well, that, but more the reaction of people of like, what? Why did they make Ghost in the Shell horny? And it's like, dude, did you even read like the manga? Like, Shirao Masamune is a freaky ass pervert dude. Like, he's a fucking It's like, what? Why did they make Ghost in the Shell all horny? This is weird. Like, like, no, dude.
There is an orgy in that manga, and when somebody asked about it, he was like, yeah, I made it all chicks because, like, I didn't want to draw dudes naked.
Yeah, no, she's bisexual, but I don't want to draw dudes, so I'm only going to draw her having sex with women. Like, that just makes sense.
And you know, the funny part about that, right? You know, the in-universe thing is about, like, you're not allowed to have cyber sex with the opposite sex because it doesn't work, like, technologically.
Yeah, sure, buddy.
Yeah, okay, man. All right. But I mean, like, I think stuff like transhumanism has all been kind of like rolled up into cyberpunk for some reason. I think because of conflations and stuff like Blade Runner. But ultimately, like, Motoko is not high-tech low life. She is high-tech high life. As high-tech as possible.
I mean, there are...
her body is not built out of cardboard, you know?
No, she is top of the line, you know?
Yeah. Her deck is not 4 generations out of date, and she's not running it off a hacked car battery.
You know, it's slightly different in the manga, but in the movies, at least, I do like the contrast that we are shown that Motoko's hardware, her body, is, you know, absolutely top of the line, highest grade military spec kind of, you know, equipment on there. And then the scenes that we get of her just living in her, like, little blank apartment that's unfurnished, and it just has a cot, and she just spends her time staring blankly out the window.
Yeah.
Like, that's kind of cyberpunk. That's a little cyberpunk.
That is definitely cyberpunk in, like, the dystopian aspect of it, for sure. But I think, like, ultimately, if you are fighting to maintain a government as a fucking Fed, I think you are missing the point of kind of like what a lot of people have fought to define cyberpunk as. And I think, you know, much like the Gundam, missing the point of Gundam, ooh, pretty robots thing, I think the idea of thinking of cyberpunk as like near future sci-fi misses the point of like what is interesting and unique and dynamic about what cyberpunk is. And one of those things is that, like, the government has failed. That we exist within a free-for-all, chaotic, like, technological forest with no lights to guide our way because there is nobody at the helm,
Yeah.
you know? And Ghost in the Shell, Motoko is at the helm.
Yeah. Well, I think what you're getting at is that for the most part, Ghost in the Shell is not cyberpunk because it does not have the willingness or interest or drive to engage in those political questions and the political aspect of what all of this technology means socially. It is much more concerned with the question of what does identity become once we have, progressed beyond the need to store it in a human brain, right?
Yeah.
That's really the core concept of Ghost in the Shell is what is the ghost and what is the shell. And cyberpunk is more concerned with what does a corporate fascist military hellscape look like as a society.
Yeah, and also, what do you have to do to survive when there is nobody at the helm? I really think that is a huge aspect of it.
Yes.
And how does technology augment the ways that we have to interact with society to survive? And Motoko staring blankly at the wall is good, but she has no problem surviving. Like, on the battlefield and off the battlefield, she's fine.
No,
She's,
she does
like,
not
good to
live
go.
in a dank little, Rei Ayanami apartment because she's struggling to survive. It's because she is struggling to remain connected to human emotion and needs.
Yeah.
Because-
There's a really cool thing in Neuromancer. I don't know if you've remember this, or have you read the book? You must have read the book at some point, right?
Let's assume I have and carry on very quickly from this conversation.
Okay. All right. Sure. That would be great if you had.
Yeah.
The main character is like a speed freak.
Okay.
He is a major drug addict. And as punishment, like for basically fucking over some hardcore dudes, one of the things they do to him,
Some real bad hombres.
they burn out the fucking neurons that allow speed to influence your brain.
Oh, that
They
is
burn them out of his head.
that is messed up.
Yes, it's really fucked up, dude. He is a fucking addict who is no longer physically capable of getting high. That is fucking cyberpunk.
Man, that's brutal.
Yeah. And they also they remove like sockets that allow him to interface with his deck. And he's an icebreaker for a living. Mm-hmm. So he's basically like, I'm going to go fucking kill myself if I can't afford the like illegal Chinese surgery that'll fix this. And that's why he joins this like big heist to begin with, because they promise that they can fix him. That's his in.
That's a very classic cyberpunk kind of like setup to a story, you know?
Yeah.
I mean,
it is the most
It is the classic. It is the classic one.
It is literally the classic.
Yeah. Well, you just like even the way you explain it right there, you can see how much of cyberpunk is, downwind from that core concept, right?
Yeah.
It is noir, it is crime thriller, it is political, it is transhumanist, it is I guess at this point, does cyberpunk the way it is, pop culturally conceptualized, is that now also considered retrofuturism?
I think in a lot of ways, because our touch points are things like Strange Days or Johnny Mnemonic.
God, I love Johnny Mnemonic.
Or Blade Runner. Johnny Mnemonic's great.
So
Short
cool.
story's great. The movie's great. I think in the movie they upgraded his memory from the short story, and it's still like a meg.
I think he has I
Something like
think
that.
he gets like five megabytes or something in his brain.
Yeah, which is,
Or like
is really funny.
I think it's like 25 megabytes, which is insanely huge.
Yeah, it's so funny. It's so funny. So in that way, yeah, it is retrofuturistic. But I'm thinking of like the Ghost in the Shell connection is interesting if we make a direct comparison, because like Motoko is Molly Millions, the Razor Girl, but inverted in like every single way.
Because of Cop.
Because of Cop. If you need the anime example, there's so many of them, but obviously I think Lucy, again from Cyberpunk, Lucy is Molly Millions. Just carbon copied, like literally lifted off the page and
Sure.
dropped into an anime.
Or
like in every single way.
what's her face? The character that you encounter in Cyberpunk 2077, also a Molly Millions type.
Which one? Judy,
Yeah,
the brain dance editor?
yeah. No, her friend, the one that you help Judy rescue.
Oh yes, the femme fatale from the beginning.
Yes,
Fuck, I can't remember her name.
I know.
But yeah, she is, but also she's like kind of in that story, unfortunately, more of the classic femme fatale in that she can't save herself.
Yeah,
Whereas Molly Million's whole thing is that she is the single most badass person in the entire world
you get
and like rocks anyone's shit.
Who is it? There was one of those in Johnny Mnemonic as well. The mercenary girl that he hangs out with, right?
Yes, that is
Yeah.
literally Molly Millions.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, Molly rocks with Johnny, and that comes up in Neuromancer later. Johnny does not come out of that story great. Some shit happens to Johnny.
Well, I mean, he was kind of an asshole anyway.
No, he was an asshole. He is a fucking asshole. I recommend don't even read the whole story. Just, you know what? Fuck it. I'm gonna read the first fucking line of that story is so fucking cool. I have to just read the first sentence. You should read these fucking books, man. They're great. Here's the first part of Johnny Mnemonic, the story. Here's my reading voice. I put the shotgun in an Adidas bag and padded it out with 4 pairs of tennis socks. Not my style at all, but that was what I was aiming for. If they think you're crude, go technical. If they think you're technical, go crude. I'm a very technical boy.
Oh man,
He's a fucking asshole.
I'm gonna start an electronica side band. I'm gonna call it Technical Boy.
You know that's been done a million times by now.
I know. Probably.
Oh, man. Dog, this shit fucking rocks so hard. Man. That story fucking rocks. That shit's, I don't know, like 30 pages or something. You can rip through that. It's a fucking good-ass story.
That said, I'm still pretty hyped for this Ghost in the Shell anime.
Oh, yeah, I guess I am not, this is not my, like, that's why it's bad. I should make that clear. Ghost in the Shell rocks. It's fucking good as hell. I like a lot of stuff where it's fucking cops. Unfortunately.
Yeah,
Like I
unfortunately.
said, most anime and manga now is about cops. Chainsaw Man was a cop. Jujutsu Kaisen, they were all cops.
I mean, to be fair, Chainsaw Man was at least about how being a cop, like, made his life actively worse in every aspect.
It sucked shit.
Yeah.
It sucked shit real hard. But ultimately, at the end of the day, he was a Fed.
That's true. Well, he was a public servant. Come on.
Public safety is now a thing that's what they call cops in manga and anime. They just call them public safety.
That's not Orwellian at all.
No. And for some reason, it's very popular for public safety to like imprison somebody who is half something and half something else and make them a cop. Huh.
There's no need to look into that at all.
Yeah.
That's not weird.
Yeah.
All right. I think let's cut it off here for this week. I don't have anything else in particular. We've ran out of premieres, but we are at like the mid-season point with everything so far. So maybe next episode we should do just a quick rundown of our expectations for all the stuff we are catching up with is going.
Sure. And I should say we should probably do our anniversary episode.
Oh, yeah. Oh, we're going to have a big anniversary special for you next time, people. There's going to be fireworks
at some point.
And hookers and blackjack. It's going to be crazy.
I mean, this will be 3 years.
Oh, God. Okay.
Of doing this and 150 episodes.
I'm not going to say, you know what? That is a milestone, I will say.
I don't know whether to feel good or bad about that, but I will say just purely on episode count, just pound for pound, hour to hour, we have annihilated 90% of all podcasts.
That's true.
We have destroyed them.
Weaker men have fallen by the roadside long past us.
I mean, like most podcasts are what? They're like, I mean, no, most podcasts are one and done.
Yeah.
The podcasts that like actually do the shit, you know, they'll hit like, I don't know, 20 episodes or something. They ain't touching us. They ain't touching us.
Nobody's going to dethrone us at the end of the day. We're going to make it to the top. Just you wait and see. Also, you know,
I don't know.
Do like reach out and comment and do make us feel good about doing this for 3 years for 150 episodes. I would actually feel great if you made me feel good about this. That'd be awesome.
It would be great if you made me feel good.
Yeah.
Podded makes me feel good.
Who are you gonna pod?
I really don't know. Again, I don't know. I think that's completely value neutral that we've done 150 episodes of this. It's not good or bad. It's just a thing that's happened.
Spitting facts.
It happened. It is a thing that happened. I don't know what else to say.
All right, handsome, tall, beautiful listener. Go like the episodes, give us hearts, give us stars, give us comments. We like all that stuff. Check us out on TikTok, like our YouTube
tell
shorts.
us what you liked about the episode.
Yeah, let us know what you want us to talk about.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. What do you think we got wrong? Let us know in the comments of whatever platform you, I guess,
your preferred social media anime consumption format.
Yeah. Tell us why we're stupid and that Ghost in the Shell is the cyberpunk classic.
All right. Until next week, anime death spiralers.
Bye.
We're not going to call them that.
I'm not calling them that. And we're not calling them spinners either.